is Ray Maor. Today I'm going to teach you about the breatharian initiation process, why it's necessary, what it does to the body, the different stages, and basically I want to answer all questions that people have about breatharianism. Do I fit to this process? Can I do this process? Now I'll tell you a little bit about myself just to get started. I've been a breatharian for 3 years now, and most of the people that go through the initiation process, they do it only for a few months after, and I will explain why. I've also taken upon myself to create an amazing process that I've already done many times around the world. In Israel I began, it's where I live. Now I'm doing it right now here in Holland. After that I'm going to do it in the USA and in Spain and in other places. The initiation process is different from the original one, and I will explain a little bit more about that. I also wrote a book. My book is called A Year Without Food. You can find it on Amazon. Just look Ray Maor or look at A Year Without Food, just search for it. But today I really want to answer all the questions that people have. What is a breatharian? Is it possible? How can I become a breatharian? What are the benefits of becoming a breatharian? What does the initiation process feel like, and is it difficult for me? Answer all these questions, and I will tell you that you will be really surprised because there's a lot to know. I'm the type of guy that tries to balance. I'm in the material world and I'm in the spiritual world, and I try to really get the mind to understand what it is going through. It's not just something that we have to go through and let go. There is a lot of understanding to go through. The first thing I would like to explain is the difference between the 21-day process that everybody has been talking about for the last 30 years and that is hardly being done today, and the 10-day process that I teach. The big difference is that the 21-day process is something that we used to do by ourselves. We are the pioneers, the first ones to do it, and it's more difficult for the body. It's 3 weeks of fast. The first week is without food or drink, and the body really goes down in energy. And the body really has to go through this initiation, and I will explain more about why we have to go through a dry fast. I'll go back to the 21-day process. First, actually, it's more important for me to explain about the dry fasting. So there's two things that happen during the initiation process to becoming a breatharian. The first thing is that we are getting convinced that we can live this lifestyle. It's not just that we look at me or at Akai or Jasmine or any other well-known breatharian and we say, wow, they're much more. No, we understand it inside ourselves that we are suitable for this, that everybody is capable of doing this right now in the world if they choose to and if they feel a calling of the spirit to do so. There are two very important things that we go through in the initiation process. The first thing has to do with here, our belief system. During the initiation process, we are having breathing techniques, guided meditations, to change our mindset and to understand that we have always lived in some percentage from energy. We feel that percentage much more when we are enjoying our life, when we are working on a project, when we are in love. Then we feel that we don't need to eat as much. We feel that there's a lot of pranic intake, chi. Our chi is much higher and we don't really feel hungry. We never go to the fridge unless we're just used to it, unless it's 2 o'clock and our colleague tells, oh, it's time to eat, but we feel that we don't really need it. Just imagine how many times did you actually go to eat because your body told you that you want to go to eat, and not because you were bored or you were heartbroken or you're feeling negative or you were compensating emotionally for something bad that happened or a long day that you just had and anything like that. So the first thing is that we need to be convinced, and that we do in this type of video. We do that over a few days, and it's okay. Everybody comes in with a doubt. I also had a doubt, when I started my 21-day process, and today the people that come to the 10-day process, they do it even quicker. First, because the frequency of the planet now allows it. Much more people are getting used to it. The more energy you take in your life, the more people that become vegetarian and vegan, and they feel that, wow, I'm putting in less food and I have more energy, and I feel lighter, and I feel more feminine, and I feel more tolerance towards compassion, towards nature. And the more people that have that behavior, the more it's socially acceptable, and the energy wave, the vibration is becoming subconsciously global. So the more people that are like that, the more people know that they can go through a breatharian initiation without any problems, without any issues, It is only the fear of what we don't know. And the type of people that come younger, older, all ages, all sexes, all industries. And this is the amazing thing. Sometimes businessmen come, they say, I saw you on television, I saw you on YouTube, I want to do this, I want to experience this. So it's really, if you have that doubt, it's okay. Everyone has a doubt. And it's really, really okay. This is the way it works. Everyone has doubt, and after that everyone has the mind games, because they don't feel hungry anymore, they don't feel thirsty anymore, and they continue living their life like that, and they say, wow, it's amazing, like I just drink 2 glasses of juice and I feel great. So like I said, the first thing is the mind. The mind has to accept it. The mind has to get rid of the addiction that it's so deep that we don't even know it's an addiction. You know, we got the first thing that happened when we were born is that we cried, and then we got a titty and milk, and we were fed, and that was the first emotional attachment we had with food. And afterwards, when we grew up and we cried and we felt bad, and then our mom or dad would give us some chocolate, here, go feel better, or here you feel bad, somebody broke your heart, why don't you eat some ice cream, why don't you know, take it out that way. And that's okay, you know, we know this addiction, we just don't call it an addiction. And the second thing that happens is the dry fast, and this is really the amazing part. This is something that I even didn't know until I got the 10-day process and understood several things. The dry fast, even though it's scary, a dry fast is something that without food and without water, and most of us haven't even done it one day in our life. So the dry fast, we need to understand a few things. First, why do we need to go through a dry fast? First, I will tell you that in order to go through a dry fast, you need to understand that most of the water that the body needs is actually to clean itself, okay? To clean itself from the food that we eat. It means that most of the time we will drink a lot of water because we are entering our body food that is not that good, food that is industrial, okay? And then what happens is that when we stop eating, when we're fasting, then we actually don't need that much water. We always talk about the fact that we have about 70% water. It means that if you visualize me, you'll see that up to here, I'm only water. And here it's like condensed, all the bones condensed, the brain condensed, everything. But we have a lot of water, and when we are resting, and the 4 days, in the 10-day process, the 4 days that we're doing that is dry fasting, we are at rest, we are meditating, we are breathing. We understand that energy also comes from breath. Meaning first food, without food, 1 month, most people will die. Water, without water, a few days, most people will die. And then there's air. And air is really important, and we forget that air is the first nutrition for the body. Before water and before food. So what happens in the dry fast? The body, because it's resting, it knows how to take the water, we call it deep water, from the different parts of the body in order to continue cleaning itself. And it's amazing because we continue taking out liquid. We continue going to the toilet. We continue, and we see it in the beginning. Most of the times it's a little bit more colorful, and after that, a few days, when the cleansing comes to its peak and it's almost finished, then it becomes see-through, it becomes transparent, it becomes clear. And then we know that the process is working. So it's 2 big things. The dry fast is the second thing. After 3 days of dry fasting, the body understands and knows that it cannot get energy from the outside like it's used to. And it opens up the channel of chi, the tunnel of energy. The tunnel is opened up from the crown chakra. It's already open for some people, but usually it's really, really small. It opens up it a little bit more, and then it goes through all the chakras. And it now knows, the body has learned for the first time, and it does not need to learn again. After you do an initiation, a breatharian initiation, the body does not need to do it again. It already remembers, just like riding a bicycle, just like swimming. After that, it's automatic. But during the initiation process, you have to go through the 4 days of dry fasting, at least. It's about 3.5 days. Usually we take a little bit more to fit the average. Some people's DNA needs a little bit more, some people need a little bit less. And it's amazing because everybody that goes through it, they have a little doubt in the beginning, and that's okay. The deep water always helps us. The body uses it. Just imagine, I weigh about 80 kilos, so it's like 60 liters of water. So the body has everything it needs. Just a few days without it, it's okay. And yeah, we become weaker for a time being, for a few days, and after that we become stronger. Every day we become stronger and stronger. And I need to clarify something that a lot of people just don't understand. A breatharian, I know a lot of breatharians that I have taught also. A breatharian does not completely stop everything. Most of the breatharians I know, it's either that they drink in the beginning, and after a few months, when they see that they don't really need it, then they also enjoy food. And it's really about the quantity of food, you know, like if I had a year without any food because I really wanted to forget, I really wanted to experience it. And now I understand also retroactively that I needed it to become a guide, to become someone that people look up to, and someone that say, okay, so he understands breatharians and he's going to teach us, and through that they learn and they embrace this way of life. And what I want to explain is that most of us, most breatharians that I know, they eat. They eat occasionally, they don't eat because they have to, they eat because it's fun for them. Also the biggest breatharians, Akai and Jasmine and all of us, you know, we eat. I know only 2 in the world right now. Prahajani, the Indian guy, and Victor something, Trubiani, I think he's from South America. They don't eat and they don't drink. And this is a higher level. And I'm not playing in that level. When I teach people to reach the same place I am. Because what we see is that a lot of people in the beginning, the ego, he wants more. He says, no, if I don't eat it and I don't feel hungry, and nobody comes out of the process. Most of the time they don't feel hungry. After that it's just a week or 2 and occasionally. And then they say, I want just water for a year. Okay, I say, okay, fine, no problem, do that. And then after the process, the ego reduces, and this is the amazing part, and then we say to ourselves, okay, I don't really want just water, I want to taste some juice. And after about a month, I said, maybe I want a shake, or maybe I want something small. And then, you know, every process has its own time that is recommended, because after the body learns that it has a prana energy engine, a chi engine, and that engine is slowly opening up. And the initial process just elevates you to the higher levels, like 70–80% of pranic nourishment. It does not reach to 100. After the initiation, I want you to take that engine and slowly introduce it to liquids. Get it used to, you know, the energy. And only after you finish getting it used to the energy, do whatever you want. If you want to continue to becoming a complete breatharian only on water, or even not that, do that. But I can tell you that even Victor and even Prajani, their body has learned to take some water from the air they breathe. And this is the way it works. It's not that they drink the water, it's that the skin breathes it now. The body has learned, and this is really an amazing part. But it's still, you become really skinny. And most people don't want to become skinny, because most of the difficulty, as wondrous as it sounds, is a social difficulty. You don't even deal with hunger or energy. You have all the energy you want. It's just that society, Western society right now, has difficulties accepting breatharians, because it doesn't make sense. And I can tell you, if you use only the left side of the brain, it doesn't make sense. But when you use the right part of the brain, the abstract part, you understand. You understand that you are a spirit in a very small human experience. And as a spirit, you are made of light. You are the deepest and most condensed light, and still you can be fed from light itself, nourished from light itself. And all you have to do is change this. Just change your mindset. You see others do it. I saw someone I knew personally do it, and then I said, okay, it makes sense. And some people see this video and they say, okay, I feel him, I feel his energy, I feel his gentleness, I see that he's already passed 100 people. And these people have testimonials in my website, www.10dayprocess.com. So there's testimonials, there's some videos, explanations. And my purpose is for everyone to enjoy the advanced, you can say, the evolution of being fed from energy, because wow, it feels so different. If you have ever done a cleanse, a week on fruit juice or a week on water, then you can understand, you can relate. It feels like flying, but then you think something is missing, but nothing is missing. Everything is inside, everything you need. It's an amazing feeling. And I can tell you the benefits are so vast. You are always healthy. You sleep less because the digestive system takes so much energy. You don't need as much energy during the day. Now, you never feel hungry again. You never feel thirsty again. But on the other side, you also don't feel full. Don't feel full, it means that most people, when we eat, then we eat because we are hungry, and we stop because we are full. But now the mechanism of hunger doesn't tell you anymore that you're hungry. So when do you choose to drink? or eat or snack. You will usually do it because it's a social reason, you use it as a compensation, only being conscious of the compensation, saying, I've had a long day, why don't I make myself like a nice little bonus and make myself, I don't know, a banana shake or whatever. And understand again, when I say drink shake, it does not mean that you use all the nutrition inside it. Your body will use a little bit and the rest of it will be from the pranic chi engine. And you can get the body used to being a nothing if you want. But most people, like I said, they don't want that. Most of the breatharians, they come out and they try to visualize, wow, but I miss food. I miss my mom's cooking, and it's good, balance it. But you will notice that you're not hungry. And after you will eat, you will see that you're feeling that it's going through your body. And it feels weird for you to imagine it right now, but try to imagine how a life without any feeling of hunger feels like. And some of you will relate, and because you use food like it's just fuel, and you'll say, okay, I just use it as fuel, I don't need to eat anything. But imagine what happens on Christmas when you're sitting down with everybody and everybody's having the dishes that you really enjoyed all these years, and it's like food is like a social game, and you want to feel belong, and you don't want to feel that you're alienated. And I can tell you this from my experience. I went a year on just juice. A year that I went from like 3,000 calories a day before my initiation process to 400 or 500 calories a day with drinking juice. And my mind could only understand the prana by seeing the difference. And when I went to a television show, I did an 8 day without food or drink to show that my blood tests don't change. And you can see this on my website again, www.10dayprocess.com. It's all documented, it was with doctors, and we saw my blood tests don't change and I don't die after 4 days. This is what the expectation was. Amazing that the doctors went through with it. But then you have all these challenges, you know, these social challenges. How do I tell mom? Well, how is mom going to react? And some parents don't react very nicely, you know. They say, you've gone crazy. You went after these crazy people on the television, on YouTube. But if you feel a calling, investigate, learn, contact me. I give you my email. My email is maorray@gmail.com, and I'll tell you where the next 10-day process is going to take place. The type of people that come to this process are amazing, and we usually keep the processes about 20 people or less. If there's more than 20 people, then I bring another guide or another assistant, so there'll be more personal care. And during this process, it's not that we only fast. Every day we have 2 meditations, 2 breathing exercises, 1 content of a workshop. For example, we have a manifestation workshop, which is amazing. We learn about the communication with the subconscious. We learn different types of meditations that we can actually feel that we are building. We understand much more what visualization of what and how I want things to be. If I want it to be in abundance, and abundance is just not just money, it's doing whatever I want, with whoever I want, whenever I want, and in the way I want it. And as a breatharian, you understand that your vibration is much higher, and you can get whatever you want, and it's okay to get. It's okay to have. We are in the phase between the having and the being. And in order to get to the being, we need to completely feel with our human experience in this vibrational frequency, which is having the type of job we enjoy, having the type of relationship we enjoy, having enough money in the bank to do whatever it is that we want, that will give us comfort, and not being in the less, being in the more, opening up our boundaries and understanding that we can live our dreams if we wish to. And my dream was to become a guide, a global guide for awareness, for opening of the mind, for elevating the spirit, and eventually it all comes down to 2 things: happiness and tranquility. A person that is happy, you can see it in their eyes. You can see that they're just like, they're so calm, they take everything so lightly. They know that everything is going to be okay. They know that spirit is taking care of them, you know? I'm meeting the people that I'm supposed to meet, and the people who are supposed to come and be my students, they will see it, and they will feel it, and they will come. So we have manifestation workshop. We have a small initial channeling workshop. How do I contact my guides? How can I ask more questions? What is connecting to a different vibration? How do I feel it? And when you become a breatharian, you're so light that you can feel it most of the time. We have integration with the outside world, and this is the most important. because none of the other processes I know in the world, and there are few, offers this type of information. Because what we see, like the 21-day process, when someone finished it, so they say it's amazing, but most of the people, 80 or 90%, go back to eating completely in the first 2 months after they do it. Because it raises up so much resistance inside of you, because you think, I'm not a breatharian because I eat, or because I drink, or oh, today I drank a little bit too much. And my process says, no, forget about that. Do that only for taste, for enjoyment, because you're not hungry anymore. If you want now, stop for a week. If you don't, drink almost every day. And after 2 months and the integration time, it's just like changing an engine in the car. We take it to the shop, and after that, we have to run the engine in a low RPM for a while. We need to let the car learn how to use this engine, you know? Let the oil run around it, lubricate the engine. Take your time. And after that, play around with it. And I see that most of the people that go out of the 10-day process, first thing, it's a life-changing process for everyone. You will never feel about food, drink the same way after that. And that's a guarantee. I see it with everyone. And most of them, after 2 months, they just rebalance themselves, meaning they eat occasionally whenever they want to. I can tell you personally that after the year, I decided to eat once a week for about a month. And then I saw, no, I want a little bit more, because after you open up your mind to the fact that you have more taste in your life and more flavor, then you want more of that. And now I eat like twice a week. Sometimes I snack. Today I'm doing the 10-day process in Holland, and because they're fasting, then most of the time I'm fasting with them, or I take a fruit or 2 fruits a day. Sometimes more, sometimes less. I don't really think about it that much. But the logical mind wants to think about it. So if you have a logical mind, I can tell you that going down from 3,000 and something calories a day to 400 or 500, what is the difference? And going from being hungry into never being hungry again, and going from balancing, because the breatharian doesn't need to balance. That's so amazing. I don't need to think about if I had protein, or if I have carbs, or if I had vitamins or minerals. I just eat whatever I want, and usually I can tell you that it's usually going directly for dessert, because that's what we enjoy. It's like you're being a little kid again. I just want the cake with some tea. And I can do that for the whole day if I want to. And as you can see, in the beginning I was skinny. If you research enough about me, you'll see that for the first 2-3 months I was skinny. And after now I'm working out and I have back muscle tissue. I'm not big as I used to, because I used to work out a lot more. But I'm lean and I feel comfortable with that. And I think that if I really wanted to grow, I would exercise a lot more and I would become more muscular, but then I wouldn't be able to be in my position, because it will look weird for people. You know, they will look at me and say, wow, this guy, I'm 1.95 m. He doesn't see it in videos. One of the participants told me, wow, when I saw you walking down, it's like you're big. So yeah, you don't see it in the videos. I'm really tall and I don't want to be too big of a guy. So you can do whatever you want after that. And again, we think we are afraid of not having enough energy, but we have more energy. We sleep much less. We are toxin free, and I will explain to you something about what you are going through usually. The regular person eats 3 meals a day, sometimes even more snacks, because today the Health Society says 6 meals a day with tiny little courses every day. And what happens is that we have this amazing stock room. This amazing stock room is what takes the energy, and we give it a package, a meal. And the guy that is responsible for the stock room, he takes the meal and says, okay, there's another package coming, so I'll just put this in the side for a second and I'll get the other package. And I'll put this on the side for a second and I'll get the other package. And every day it's like that. And he never gets around to cleaning and organizing the big stock room. So we look back and everything's a big mess. And this big mess, we call it toxins, okay? And he never gets around to cleaning them. So once a year, somebody makes a small fast or just a juice fast for a few days. He cleanses his body, he feels great because the guy had some time to organize everything. But then he goes back to his regular habit. And what happens after when we eat more than 800-900 calories a day is that this is what happens. The stock person, the person responsible for it, doesn't have enough time to cleanse the body. So the things we that enter our body, they do not have time to be cleansed completely. And this is a normal person. It's very normal. This is what most people go through. And as a breatharian, you come to a level that the body, the reset, the initiation process completely resets everything. Because in the 10-day process we begin 1 day fruits, and then 1 day juice, and then 1 day only water, and then 4 dry days, and then we go back to just juice, diluted juice with a lot of water. And this process resets the memory completely. The deep water that comes out from our body during the 4 dry days is water that has the energy of the emotion we felt in the past. So there's also an emotional cleansing. We're going through 1 day of vipassana, complete silence, and certain exercises that make us remember who we are. We fall in love with ourselves once again. We forgive many people that we have not really forgiven. Even if I tell you right now, there's certain people in your life, it can be your parent, it can be your friend, it can be somebody that bothered you in high school, okay? That you still have a karmic connection with, and you need to learn to forgive and let go. So we go into this process with ourselves, and it's amazing. It takes hours, but we come out of it a butterfly. And we enter into the process like a caterpillar. And the whole thing here is using food just as a tool, as an instrument to develop ourselves, to grow in consciousness. And you will understand this much more. An hour video is not enough, you know. It's just not enough. This lecture is just not enough. This is the lecture for people who are interested. But when you do this by yourself and you're excited about it, when you feel a call to do this, because I have seen other processes in the world, and I'm talking about breatharian, I have searched for things that can elevate me, because I also want the challenge and I also want to grow, and I haven't seen anything else. And that's why I decided to become a guide for this, a guide for prana, a guide for breatharianism, and to make everybody understand it's not like it used to be. We are not Hindis sitting in a cave up in India and can all the day just meditate and then we don't need anything. We are normal people that live in the Western society, and in the Western society there's social rules, social expectations, and it's difficult enough to become vegan in this Western world. So just imagine what it becomes a breatharian, you know, the expectations, the questions. So for me, because I already went on television and everybody knows, it's much easier for me. I don't really need to explain myself. People that come to me, they come with the why and the how, and not if it's real or if it's not real. We already went through that. We already know that it's real. We already tested everything with the blood and hospitals, and I did the whole thing just so everybody can understand. The first Western experiment that was completely a success, and I'm so happy that I had Spirit with me, guiding me all the way. So more things is that you sleep less because your belly doesn't work, your intestine, everything, it doesn't work that much. And it's not that you don't use it, you drink, so it's still usable. But in the beginning I can tell you that I felt that my teeth were a little bit more sensitive because I wasn't chewing for a long time. So I tried to chew some chewing gum. And it really depends on the person. Each individual goes through different things, and it's a healing process. I will show you, there's a lot of research about the fact that fasting, any type of fasting, boosts the immune system. Boosts the immune system. Why? Because the white blood cells, the ones that are already half alive and half dead, the body eats them and cleans them out, and then it forces itself to create new white blood cells, and that boosts the immune system. And that's just one thing. People have cured themselves from cancer using fasting. And fasting has so many healing abilities. Your dogs, your cats, when they are feeling sick, they stop eating. Why? Because it's natural. This is what the body wants. The body wants to rest so it can heal itself, and the body is amazing. You know, if you break your hand, it's not that the people in the hospital are the one that fixing your hand. It's that they just put something straight and they let the body heal the hand. Like the body takes care of most diseases, you know. So we just need to believe and put our faith in the body. The body knows best. But for humans, when we are sick, then our consciousness tells us that we need to eat, we need energy from the outside. But we usually don't feel good and we don't want to eat. It's just that grandma made this amazing chicken soup and she wants to feed it to us. And she says, no, you have to do this, you have to get more energy. No, you have all the energy you want. Listen to your body is ever lying. So after the initiation process, sleeping less, toxin free, that means less disease. Some people that had migraines before, those migraines became really distinct, meaning they hardly feel them anymore. Some people just say, wow, I had this ache all my life and it disappeared. I had this knee problem all my life and it disappeared. Everyone has his own sort of healing. We have 4 or 5 more hours every day. There's no more breakfast, there's no more lunch, there's no more dinner. There's just whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. And you sleep less. For example, I go to sleep really late and I wake up really early. And when I go to my job, then I don't have an hour break at lunch because I don't need it. So I just leave an hour early. And everybody already knows this is the way I work. You know, I take 5-minute breaks to drink some tea or some hot cocoa if I want to, or it doesn't really matter. And apart from that, the spiritual aspect is amazing, because if you're already meditating and you know that in the beginning then your mind drives you a little bit crazy, so now here it's direct link. Afterwards, you feel much more connected. You're in harmony because you're actually recycling a lot more. Half of the you know, the garbage in our life is biological garbage. Things that have come from the food we eat, and it's not necessary. It's really not necessary. We can just clean all that up and imagine that we're just wasting just a little bit of fruits that we cut up, and yeah, like you will throw significantly less. If you're already a vegetarian and feel that you're doing good for the planet, now you're going to feel even more. And the connection to yourself, being an example, having a high vibration, an example for the fact that spirit overcomes, the mind overcomes matter. Because it doesn't make sense in the beginning. In the beginning, afterwards, you a little bit judge. You judge humanity. You say, so if breatharians exist and I can become a breatharian in a 10-day process that is much easier than what I thought, and I don't need to be that unique in order to do that, I just need to feel a calling to do that, then why doesn't everybody do it? And how come there's kids that are dying in Africa? And I can tell you, it's about the consciousness, it's about the belief. If you believe you are healthy, then you're healthy. And I've been 15 years disease-free. You know, it's not that if I drink poison, obviously something will happen, but I believe that I should be completely and all the time healthy, so I am. And if you believe that you need less food, then you will be. And if a child in Africa believes that he will die because he has less food, he will starve, then this is what is going to happen. And children are not supposed to go through this process. This process is for people who are about 20-year-olds and up, when the body is fully matured and the person, the consciousness understands what it's going through. And and it's amazing because some people do it at 20 years old, and I'm jealous, because if they do it now, they're going to live much longer. Being a toxin-free body, it means that you have longevity. It means that your whole life stretches. If you will see, the caloric restriction, scientific research shows that when we eat less, we live about 30% longer for mammals. And I can go into that, but it's too complex. Search caloric restriction, open up another tab, do it right now even, because right now is the only time we live, right now is the only time of motivation, right now is the only time that we feel. It's not that we're remembering something in the past or we're imagining something that's going to happen in the future. It's right now. This is the point of motivation. If you want change, it's now. So I think I've talked enough. There's so many other subjects. I can tell you a lot more about the spiritual connection, and maybe I'll make another video, but this is long enough to understand. If you want to become a breatharian, contact me. Go to my website, see the next events. I'm going to have one in 2016 in the USA and in Spain and in Israel, and every 2 or 3 months I'm going to do it in a different place around the globe. Watch some testimonials, see if you feel the frequency, if you feel the vibration, and contact me. My email is maorray@gmail.com. I'm going to put another video, maybe another video for the breatharians that have just finished, and to teach them how we can incorporate and explain it to other people. In the meanwhile, thank you very much. Namaste, my friends, and enjoy life and this beautiful human experience.